Howdy. This is a video about politics. Those are fun. So I'm going to discuss where I am politically at this point, which is, I think, by the test and the thumbnail, you know, it's sort of in that little green square in the negative, the third quadrant, sort of like almost in the middle of it. That's, I think, I've taken, you know, that test multiple times, and I think that's where I stand. But it's weird because I think that that test and those opinions are almost provisional in terms of, like, I don't think that there's, like, this is something that's changed, but I don't think that there's, like, a deep systemic point to that position compared to any other position. Well, maybe there is a little bit, but not too much. The last nail in the coffin in terms of that was really the whole David Graeber's gift economy idea, which I've sort of changed my mind on because I think that ever since my last, like, exchange value video, because I think that, you know, a gift is no different than a trade. You know, a trade is just a gift with low information, basically. You know, a trade is, you know, how you would give a gift when you don't know anything. It's like when you don't know what somebody wants for Christmas, you just give them some money or something, or a gift card, you know? That's like what a gift, it's what a gift looks like when there's no information. So, in a sense, I think that we already have a gift economy, and so David Graeber's whole system thinking is kind of, it's kind of diluted. There is an impersonal aspect to trade, which gift giving doesn't have, but that's the result of there not having that personal information. So, I haven't read the book, but I feel like that flaw is in there. But basically, I don't know if I should even, like, call myself an anti-capitalist anymore. I've sort of shifted a little bit. Partially, my whole, like, anti-capitalist thing was like partially just a reaction to Stefan Molyneux and anarcho-capitalism, which I still think is crazy. I mean, there's something to learn about it, but it's still, you know, in any practical sense, I think it's obviously wrong. And I'm obviously sympathetic with, like, socialists and stuff like that, and, like, movements, you know, with those ideas and you know, Occupy Wall Street and labor movement and stuff like that, and workers' control. But I feel like a lot of, you know, I was actually going to make a video about anarcho-communism at one point and why I think that's not, you know, why I don't have too much faith in that idea. Mostly I think that, like, the things that the left radicals claim are missing in capitalism aren't actually missing. They're already there, they're just not there in that large supply. Like, you know, like a safety net or workers' control of the means of production. That is kind of there, it's just not really, there's not that much of it, and it's sort of moving in the opposite direction. And, you know, stuff like that. So, I'm a little distant from the whole left radical thing, and I think my whole idea of, like, complexity and complexitism is more just about embracing the fact that the way the system works is we move from, like, one layer of competition to another. We compete for our very survival and basic resources to competing for jobs and competing for profit to competing for something else, and it keeps, like, we keep moving up the layers. That's sort of the theory and the idea that I want to have faith in, and that's sort of what I want to embrace, is that whole process. But in that process, you know, it leaves the door completely open today, and all the shit that's happening in the world, for left-wing ideas. The reason I'm actually going to try to, like, ask a question here. I'm open to those ideas, but I'm not too much of an expert on all the empirical stuff, and I haven't done all the reading. You notice I don't actually talk too much about politics on the channel. I talk about theory and shit, but not really about, like, practical things or the whole gender politics or, you know, racism, all the popular topics with regards to any channel that discusses politics. I don't cover that stuff. It's not that interesting to me, and I'm not that invested in it because I'm not really that affected by it. You know, things I am obviously affected by, things like the economy and you know, the environment and stuff like that. I'll talk about those, but I think I've realized as well, you know, recently, that there's an element to what I do, which is that my complaint against the system is, sound perhaps at an impersonal level, but not at a personal one, not for myself. I think that what I've realized, or what I'm realizing now, is that at a personal level, I have, well, in the very least, there's a lot more that I could do at a personal level that I'm not doing to succeed within the system, to prosper, to make a change. There's just things that I'm not doing, that I could be doing, that I should be doing, and it's process of dealing with my own shit to actually start to do that stuff. But I bring it up because I'm not sure how much of my complaint and my anti-capitalism was due to, the personal level or the impersonal one. At an impersonal level, I can embrace parts of it. At a personal level, it didn't really apply to me at a personal level. And I think that's the thing that's shifted, is that I'm realizing that at a personal level, I sort of, I haven't done all that I could. And I feel like that kind of personal responsibility thing is important, no matter what political idea you have, whether it's socialism or anything. You always have to invest, and put effort in and sacrifice whatever it is, work to get whatever it is that you want, whether it's personal success or impersonal success, or a new system or a better system. You always have to do something until you could say you did all that you could, before giving up. I haven't done all that I could, and that's what I'm sort of emphasizing here, is that I haven't done all that I could, and I'm supposed to do that. But that's part of, that's part of the reason why politics hasn't been that interesting to me, because I've sort of always known that any issues that I have at a personal level are personal issues, and they have to do with my specific character traits and shit like that, not with the system or anything grand like that. But I obviously sympathize with radicals and people like that. My point is, I'm just saying that when the system, when I was complaining about the system and all these anti-capitalist videos, a lot of that has to do with things that I sort of believed at a personal level, which I don't believe anymore. Things that I felt like things should have been easier for me at a personal level. But I'm looking at it now from the perspective that I haven't actually put enough effort in at the personal level to put it that way. So my question is, to any of the left-leaning socialist type people who might watch me or watch this, I'm curious as to what led you to your ideas. Why do you believe in it? Do you believe in it at a personal level or at an impersonal one? And I'm not asking for like arguments for it. I understand the arguments. That's not the point. I'm curious more about, is it just an impersonal concern or is it a personal concern? Because I think for me it should be more of an impersonal concern. But, if you're the kind of person and you've struggled a lot and you've done all that you could and it's just, it's the kind of situation where it's really the system more than it is you, and this is like a thing that's happening en masse, then yes, that's understandable, and that's understandable that, that's the problem, and it's understandable that some sort of radical solution might be the way. But I'm just curious about that element. Are you there because of personal or impersonal reasons? Because I'm curious to help me understand my own thing. Gotta think, like, for obvious things like student debt and private debt jubilees and nationalizing the banks and the environment. All those things are all very relevant at an impersonal level, at a very impersonal level, because they affect a lot of people. They affect the whole system. So, you can address those things, even though if those things don't personally affect you that much, we could still be concerned about them. That's sort of where I am now. And, yeah, that's sort of it. So, let me know what you think. Farewell, cheers, and good luck.